Hello everybody, this is Desmond530, and today we'll be going over the 870 MCS shotgun in Battlefield Hardline. So this is the starter shotgun you unlock, and this is the 870 Remington shotgun. This has been used for many different countries, many different police forces. This is basically one of the most iconic pump-action shotguns in the world. But yeah, I'm not going to go too much into its real-life usage, because this is pretty much used by so many people it's not even funny. But yeah, so as I said, this is the starting weapon for the Enforcer class, and let's get right into the stats. So firstly, as just like a notification, I got these stats kind of randomly because I had to go through a slightly outdated video, and I got to compare the stats with what I've seen in game, and this looks about right. So let's get into it. So the 870 MCS is a 12 pellet shotgun that fires at 83 RPM. And as for its damage and damage over range, each pellet does a maximum of 25 damage, and that drops all the way down to 6 damage at 20 meters. It's like a kind of linear slope. Basically, it stays until like around 4 or 5 meters, and then it starts dropping down through the curve to 20. As for the magazine size, it has a 7 magazine size. And as for its reload speed, it has a 1.1 second reload for the first shell if empty. Otherwise, every shell is reloaded at the speed of 0.68 seconds per shell. And for the other main stat is that the weapon has a 3-degree hipfire spread, so a 3.0 spread when hip firing, and when aimed down sights, that is effectively cut in half, so 1.5. So yeah, let's just get onto the attachments real quick. Firstly, this weapon is awful without a choke on it. Simply put, this weapon has one big issue, and that is that 3 degrees hip fire, and even aiming down sights is awful without a choke. The choke I recommend running is the full choke. So what the full choke will do is that you will get a bigger hip fire spread of 50% on average, but you will tighten your aim down sight spread by 40%, effectively, or even potentially doubling your one-shot kill range. As for other attachments, most of the rest are up to your personal preference. Mainly the barrel is the biggest thing. And ammo-wise, I would say if you have access to breaching rounds, I would recommend them just because they're free attachments. But one thing I will say though is I do not recommend this weapon with slug rounds, unlike Battlefield 4. Slug rounds in this game are kind of weird, even weirder than Battlefield 4. And the fact is that the 870 MCS just does not have the range of the previous games with slug rounds to make it viable. Otherwise, if you are not running this, or if you are not running this with a full choke, or if you are simply put just leveling up, I'd recommend not touching this weapon until you have a full choke. Till you have a full choke bribe or voucher, whatever. And otherwise, I think this weapon is fairly useless. Out of my star rating, I give this weapon probably a 2 out of 5 stars. Simply put, the weapon is okay at what it does, but every other shotgun does effectively better than it, either in rate of fire, damage, range, whatever. It's essentially the jack-of-all-trades shotgun. The issue is that being a jack-of-all-trades in this case just makes you mediocre at best. Like I said though, if you do run a full choke, the weapon is fairly viable, I guess you would say. But overall, that is my review of the 870 MCS shotgun. Kinda quick, sadly, but whatever. Either way, this is Des1530, signing off. Otherwise, for the next video, I am not sure. I'm still working on getting the M16A3 review done, but hopefully it does get done sooner rather than later. That being said, once again, this is Des1530, signing off, and I hope you guys all enjoyed.